Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Mario Pichardo. Things have started to get really crazy with the level of, I can't even say the word because of how the algorithms work, but um, the stopping of expression on this platform in many different facets that it's gotten so bad that even people who are typically aligned with that political group are starting to turn around and say, this is a little crazy. You know, that party, that organization used to be all about freedom of people to really express themselves in any way that they wanted to. They've very quickly taken that to the extreme and now become the controllers of what is and what is not, what is and what is not tolerable on a level of media that is just insanely blatant and obvious. Look, it's in the Hollywood movies, the TV shows, the celebrities are talking about it. It's straight out of Hollywood. You see it in the newspapers, it's all the politicians talk about. And because they own so much of the industry, so much of the communications industry, and I'm talking about all the news, all of the TV shows, all of the, you know, they have a lot of strength. Now that doesn't mean they own every last TV station or every last news organization, every form or facet, but the power is there. And it's actually kind of crazy that even in this video format, I can't just say the words or even skate close to the words, you know, assuming that I haven't already been, you know, silenced in some facet, you know, where people are talking about their subscribers aren't able to see their content. There's other people have been quietly, you know, misplaced. So they never get any viewers. And now I'm starting to wonder, is that what happened to mine? You know, granted, I haven't really had a lot, but did it start early? Is it what's impacting the ability to reach more people today? And that kind of thing is kind of scary. And you have to look at the timing of it too. You know, when you look at these political events that have been happening recently and what they all point towards, isn't it a little weird that it's happening today? Look, it's 2019. We're about to hit July. We're halfway through June, and you know we have elections coming up. What happens when by the end of this, there's anybody who disagrees with the certain political ideology that's dominating media, at least or so they want you to think. What happens when that's all the people see? And so the other side doesn't exist. They called for a complete takedown of Fox News, a news organization, a mainstream news organization. I think that what's happening is that these news organizations are starting to see a huge decline. They're going through a huge decline, layoffs. And I don't think that that's even entirely because of, you know, everybody being able to talk into a camera these days. It's partially also because people have kind of been reading these news articles and saying, you know, this isn't actually true. And in fact, a lot of these articles contradict themselves. And so, well, your own article contradicts itself. Why am I going to look at you as an authoritative news source? And a lot of that is what's happening. And so, look, that's a part of it. But again, also the technology. You know, I can pick up a camera and record this. And so if I can do that and people, watch my stuff and it's just kind of me talking to a camera, that's a lot more, believe it or not, engaging to people by the numbers. The key demographics are moving towards these kinds of platforms. And I think that that's the old guard is afraid that that movement, that the people moving from, these mainstream sources to, kind of more independent creators is scary. I think it's definitely scary. They're waning in a lot of their power. And so what they've done in one way or another is pressured companies like YouTube to stay on their side. And, we have leaked, stuff from internally from that company. And we know that it is heavily biased towards one side. In fact, one of the employees that worked there came out. He was fired. And he said, I was fired because my beliefs were different. And, it's a toxic environment in there. And so look, I think that it's not just the pressure from the outside, it's the pressure from inside. This ideology is kind of taken over. It's scary because it's taken over so many powerful positions that it's kind of forcing people to kind of wake up and realize something's really weird's going on. People who would never usually affiliate themselves with politics. Those people are turning around and saying, this is really weird that so many people are starting to cover the news. They're starting to cover politics. And rightly so. Politics has become extraordinarily polarizing, just incredibly. And so here we are, 2019, mid 2019, and it's ramping up. It's ramping up, and something's going to give. Look, if there was a time, this is going to be the time when some thing is going to come out of this, whether that's, a new platform that where people can go to spread their ideas, or government regulations, or something has to happen. And what it looks like is going to happen is that the censorship's going to increase, and the government, whether they like to or not, are going to have to step in to restore some, at least, illusion of equality, because it's just not there right now. And even though that's scary, it looks like that's the direction we're heading in. And so in some ways it's good, in some ways it's bad. It's great in that, well, what does that mean for the voices who are being oppressed right now? I mean, they get another shot in the arm, another shot at life. And well, it's bad because now we're giving government even more control, and over something that's very important. We're giving government control of the ability to be able to regulate the public square. The government is going to regulate the public square, which means that Dan Bongino brought up a great point, that if, when the Democrats win the presidency again, they have the power, or they win both seats of both places in Congress, and in the White House, it'll happen at some point. They have the opportunity now to mess with that regulation, to add on to it, to add stipulations, things in favor of what we would call, or what they would call, hate speech. And so, it's dangerous, but our hands have been forced because this political divide has gotten just to that level of insanity. So with that, guys, I'm going to end it here. It's interesting to see this kind of growth, this kind of development. And we'll be sure to, pick it up and talk more about it in the next one. But I did want to just briefly touch on the fact that this is something that's happening, and it's wild. And the fact that you can't even mention certain things because, you don't want to get botched or, clamped down on even more. But we'll see what happens. We'll see where it goes. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.